Routes America, I'm joined by David Surley, the Director of Route Development at Aarhus Airport. Thank you so much, David, for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I guess my first question to you is, Aarhus Airport reached their target of 500,000 passengers to pass through the airport by the end of 2023. So how are things going for the airport of the happiest city in the world?
I think, based on the really good figures we had last year, things are pretty good, actually. So we're super happy, as well as everyone else in the Aarhus area. We had a really bumper summer. The summer was more than peak of peak situation.
Right.
And we had back-to-back record-breaking months, especially in international traffic. It was really driven by international growth and expansion. So, we're looking to continue that again as we look forward.
Okay, great. So the Greek island Lesbos was recently announced as a new direct destination from Aarhus Airport. What is your strategy in developing international connectivity to and from Aarhus?
Actually, a little bit of everything, or a lot of everything. So
Okay.
Lesbos is a new one. That's actually a seasonal holiday destination in the Greek islands with one of our major tour operators. We also have Norwegian starting services this summer. They're brand new to Aarhus. And they're starting with 3 Spanish destinations. Alicante is brand new for us as well. So more leisure, more sunshine. Danes love that. But also inbound is super important for us. So, as well as putting pressure on more seasonal and sunshine traffic, business traffic as well, hub and spoke connectivity. Some of everything.
Right.
We need all of it.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So have you modified the passenger experience at Aarhus Airport? So have you included foreign language signage, showed cultural iconography to help grow international traffic? And has there been evidence of that supporting the growth?
Yes, so actually during the pandemic we had a massive rebuild program. So the terminal is completely new, and customers are loving the experience. It's very upscale, it's very user-friendly, very Nordic in feel, lots of wood, fresh lines. It looks really fresh, really, really nice. Customers are loving it. The feedback is fantastic. So I think we've really moved forwards. The lounge areas, the charge lounge area is huge. Floor-to-ceiling windows, lots of natural light. We have a new food and beverage concept in place as well. It's really looking, feeling great, and we're listening to what customers want as well to continue to move it forward. It's very Nordic feeling, and Scandinavians like to, it's important for them to have, aesthetics. They're a significant thing, and I think, we're looking nice and Scandinavian and quality as well. So then people feel more relaxed as well.
More connected, So business travel was also another contributing factor to the growth of passenger volumes to the airport. So is there anything in particular you do to retain them?
We work hard to keep business travelers happy, and actually I think it's fair to say, like most airports, leisure came back from the pandemic ahead of business travel. It was a little more sluggish. We noticed, especially within sort of intra-Scandinavian markets, but it is coming back now. We work very, very closely with our Nordic airline partners, so SAS, Scandinavian, also Broughton's regional, Swedish airline that we work with. So we try to optimize the type of service, the time of day, and I think, capacity is coming back. It's not back fully to where it was pre-pandemic, but it's getting there. So we like to think we're working hard to get the right level of service in place for customers, and plus the service improvements with the new ambience that we have. Fast from when you drop off your car to get all checked in, or most people are on their mobile boarding passes. No security lines, fast track for domestic travelers, all of them. So it's a nice experience, straight into the retail zone, straight to the gate and onto the plane. So you can do it in 20 minutes. I'm sure business travelers would appreciate that efficiency as well. Oh, they do.
So over your tenure, how have you helped grow the traffic to the airport, and what are some key tactics that has helped in the success?
Wow, well, I think, it's sort of been challenging times, really, since I've been there 8 years with Aarhus, and we've been through some tumultuous periods. We had very high growth, actually, in 2018-19, prior to the pandemic, of course. Then, like everywhere else in the world, things ceased.
Shut down,
So we took the advantage to build during that time and completely redevelop the terminal. And now, things are really back on track, but agility. We're seeing that customer preferences, trends in destinations, they're changing. Customers are making their choices and buying much closer to the point of departure. That the booking window is much smaller than it used to be.
So what was it before, and what are you seeing it now?
Well, we have on a lot of our flights, we can see the capacity moves greatly, even within the last week before date of travel. And that would often have been the case with business travellers, for example, who book their meetings at short notice. But we see that on leisure markets as well now. People are waiting to make their buying decisions. So.
Do you think of a reason why? Is it because do airfares drop in prices like a week before? Are people just making rash decisions?
I think people are just feeling confident to make late decisions and feel good about the price that they got.
Fair enough.
I don't see any trend that prices crash at the last minute. It doesn't really work that way with our airline partners, and our load factors are generally very, very good.
Yeah.
So it's not that there's masses of spare capacity available. I think the whole market just seems to be booking later these days. So to combat that, and I think airlines, of course, in their planning cycles, they have to work with that. So the whole process is now getting shorter and shorter.
Right.
And for us as an airport, that means we have to be agile to work with airline partners who are having to be agile in their business. We all need to up our level of agility.
Okay.
So we're working on shorter decision base, optimum information at the last minute, or as close as we can to support what our airline partners are looking into, and being on top of as much knowledge and data as we can have about the behaviour in our market, and we do that quite well, I think.
Yeah, that's really inquisitive. Yeah. So for my next question, I wanted to ask: is sustainability part of your conversations with airlines now that you're looking at new routes, and what goes on behind the scenes with your airlines in these conversations?
It can be, with some more than others.
Yeah.
I think often we get the question, because we're operating in a Scandinavian region, we get the question about how important is sustainability in the decision making, and I think there has been more focus in the past in other parts of Scandinavia, but that's not to say that expectations aren't changing all the time, and I think more and more customers in our area are also expecting us to have a focus on this. Airlines, of course, most airlines do, and we try to work with them to support the products that they have in place, their offsetting schemes, etc. We try to help them communicate those into our local market as well. Plus, the airport is currently we're canvassing our entire airport to get on top of our own carbon footprint, if you like, and how we can address that and make improvements that are meaningful. The benefit of having a brand new terminal building is, of course, we're using much more energy efficient lighting, etc. LED lighting throughout. We're conscious around that. We're really upped our game on basic things like recycling, etc. Putting in charge points. We have both regular charge points and fast charge points in the car parking areas as well. So I think we're helping facilitate everybody at each stage of the process along the way. But of course, it's an evolving area.
Of course. So the Denmark government announced last December a green tax on flying passengers to help finance the airline industry's transitions to greener practice. Can you tell me what you thought of these proposals?
Yeah, I mean, I think collectively, as part of the industry, we think, that the need to be on top of the environment and environmental impact of aviation is something we need to focus on. So nobody is going to say that, it's not expected that there is more focus from countries like Denmark on this. I think it's how it is enacted is what was troubling for some of the players in the market. So we support the intention. But we don't support something that is potentially reinventing the wheel when there are European-wide initiatives that some of the airlines, for example, in the Nordic region, SAS, for example, are working towards those already. We work with our partners to support that. And I think, therefore there is some question in the industry is trying to create something specific just for Denmark. Is that helping or is it distracting? Is it taking away the focus from a bigger picture? So I think we're open to dialogue around that, and at the moment I think there's a lot of questions around in the detail. How is it going to be followed through and delivered when the government puts this into place? And I think some of the answers around that are still yet to be set.
Understood. And I think you even said as well. You sort of stated your disapproval on these taxes and identifying that the funding actually goes to state COFAs and the state pension fund for senior citizen welfare, and actually only 32% of the funding actually goes to financing green practices. So what would be the ideal way forward?
Well, I think, if it's being labelled as a green aviation
Yeah.
tax, I think the feeling from the industry is that it should be fully put
Yeah,
towards and invested in
yeah.
green aviation solutions.
Understandable.
And this isn't. In
Yeah.
the early period, it's a much lower percentage that is being invested into that.
Yeah.
And again, we wait to see exactly how it will be. We wait
Yeah.
to see the detail
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
plan. If it's going to be called a green aviation tax,
Yeah.
I think the industry think, well, it should be 100%
Of course, yeah.
green aviation
Yeah.
initiative funding,
Yeah.
rather than just topping up a welfare
Yeah,
pocket.
yeah. My final question, can you give us your 30-second pitch on why an airline should choose to fly into your airport rather than your competitors?
I can do.
Okay.
In 30 seconds, that's a challenge, actually. Well, in terms of our competitors, actually our primary competitor is the capital city's airport, in terms of volume of leakage. So we have a population base around Aarhus, in the greater Aarhus area, of around about 1.4 million.
Right.
The leakage away from us is actually quite extraordinary by Northern European standards.
Okay.
We're the fifth biggest population base in the Nordic region, but we're losing millions of customers to Copenhagen Airport. And the drive time to get there is between 3.5 and 4 hours. But we're also losing people trans-border across down to south of us is Hamburg.
Okay.
We lose a lot of people down that way as well.
Right.
So actually for us, it's the opportunity to turn traffic around, leaking traffic around. And we can demonstrate that with new routes that we have put into place when we have new direct services.
Yeah.
We can see how we very easily turn the traffic around when
okay.
people still thrive on convenience.
Yeah.
If they can fly from their doorstep, they will.
Yeah.
If they have to then make a long distance to find something that they don't have access to, then they will. So the opportunity for us, and the great opportunity I think with Aarhus, is we currently have a very large leaking market, which is very easy to turn around just by convenience. And we've demonstrated that repeatedly with new routes with our existing airline partners. So I would say, the opportunity for many airlines is to literally turn that traffic around and achieve high load factors with, and in a price resilient area as well.
Yeah.
We're an affluent economy.
Yeah.
Population is growing.
Yeah.
The economy itself is very robust. GDP is on the increase. Companies are thriving.
Yeah.
So the situation is situationally, it's very, very good for airlines to move in now.
Okay, well, that's very appealing to any airline that's wanting to look into flying to Aarhus Airport. Thank you so much, David.